Welcome back to the podcast. Please be sure to rate and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to the podcast. And you can watch us on YouTube. We are not fancy enough to have a custom URL yet, so that's all linked below. You can subscribe, comment, do all of the things because I believe you. We believe in you. What's up, Grace?
How we doing?
Episode 2.
Woo!
This is very exciting.
Two's a good number.
2 is a good number. It's an even number. I like it. We are 2 people. We are 2 of the same.
We probably have to stop after 2 though, because then
we're just gonna go 2, 4, 6.
Yep.
People be like, "Where's 3? Where is episode 3?"
Make people look.
It's all hidden. You have to
we
find.
We could do like a whole murder mystery podcast. You have to like answer the clues to get to the mystery podcast ones.
I like that. We're like, you have to subscribe to our OnlyFans to get the odd podcast. Ooh, baby. Dude, what's up? What's new? It's been about a week. How you doing? What's new?
Just about a week, yeah. Good. Things are good,
Surviving, living.
Yeah. I'm not in Texas, and I feel definitely bad for those Texans who don't even own a winter coat, and I don't know how you manage. So I feel bad for all you Texas people out there.
Dude, you know what? I feel bad. Have you seen on the news on the A train? There was a crazy person that is slashing people for fun. Did you see that? Yeah, it's insane. There's a dude that was just going around and slashing people, and apparently there are extra reports of people beating up Asian people, and I'm like, I thought this Trump shit was over when this dude left, but no.
It's probably not governmental related. It's just crazy people related.
People are fucking crazy. That dude on the A train that was slashing everybody, they were like, oh, it was just a homeless guy or going after homeless people. I'm like, no, he's going after everybody. Dude's a fucking nut.
See, that was, one of the main reasons once this pandemic hit that I got out of the city was not because, partly because it'd be nice to have windows when you're stuck inside all day. So definitely wanted a place with windows and more than one door to close just in life. But the other part is when everyone's gone, people get a little crazy.
Dude, I was talking to my mom about this today because when we were talking about this whole thing, I'm like, where were they? I thought this shit was supposed to happen earlier when everyone's like, oh, it's a pandemic. Oh my God, not a year in.
Yeah, maybe it's the mole people are starting to come out from underneath the city. They're like, it's time to come out. They're popping out the sewers and
it's crazy, man. And dude, so I think I told you. I don't know if I didn't tell the viewers because I was just dreading this experience, but I got the COVID shot and I got the first one, and I'm finally This is me finally kind of getting back to normal. I got it on Valentine's Day because I thought that's a really romantic thing. Hope was getting her second vaccine. I was getting my first vaccine. I'm like, that's how we celebrate love.
This day and age, that's as strong as love can get.
It's really hot. And, dude, I will tell you, I got the sickest.
After the first one, everyone says the first one's not as bad as the second one. So
yeah, thanks for reminding me because all Hope is doing is oh man, I'm concerned about your second one because I was in bed the night one, dude. I had to get it late because that's all they had available. I had to get it at midnight on Valentine's Day, so technically Monday, I guess.
Yeah. And
that night, I was so scared. I'm so scared of needles. It's not even funny. And I went and I got it. And the nurse was so nice. She was so nice. She was like, "It's gonna be okay." There was 2 women in there. There was an admin that on the computer and the nurse, or doctor, I guess. And I was telling them I'm so sorry. I am so afraid. And I was telling them my whole life story. And when I worked at Empeon and I was doing, did a whole tequila thing. And so I had the admin holding my hand and I had my arm down and the nurse, she's like, "Oh, tell me about tequila. What tequila do you like?" And I'm like, "Oh, I like it all." And it was...
This is our big, strong, tough host here, guys. Matt Berman. Can we get a round of applause for this
And then it was over, and I hadn't gotten a needle in my arm in such a long time. So I'm like, all right, obviously it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Everything was just fine. And when it was over, I was so relieved and I was so jacked up. And I was like, I had this adrenaline. So I got home and I was good. No side effects. I'm good. I'm like jumping around. Like, I am so awake. It's 3:30 in the morning. Let's do this. Went back to sleep, woke up the next day, drenched in sweat. My arm is sore. I'm down. Out, down, the chills,
It's probably the needle's way of like spiting you for being afraid.
Right? It's like, you little baby, basically. And it was like, today is the first day I'm feeling like superhuman, back to being a human. I think it was like one day of totally down and out exhaustion, like I had COVID. And then the second day was sort of recovery. And now I'm sort of back to normal. I had to have like a shit ton of coffee before doing this to like really jazz me up. But no, I'm finally back to normal. And thank God, because I'm going to have to do it again soon.
So well, maybe it won't be as bad. I heard sometimes like the first, like some people react to the first one and not the second. You never know. But
I will say,
I really hope you get the same nurse and she can hold your hand because,
Yo, I'm dead serious. At the end of that appointment, I was like, "You are so lovely. Can we please do this again?" It was like this date was so nice.
They didn't say you needed to take them out for a drink first for how long you were holding their hands there.
Right? I felt so bad, but they were so lovely. Oh my gosh. And we were talking about Jordans. We're talking about like cleaning the house. We just like chit chat for a little while. And then you're supposed to go to like this holding area, but they let me like sit in the pod with them for a minute to like decompress because I finished and I was like pacing around the pod. Like, oh God, it's over. This is so nice. Yeah. Oh my God. Anyway, the side effects are real, but I had COVID before I got the vaccine. So I'm told that if you didn't have COVID, before you get the vaccine, that you're going to be better.
Oh,
like so it won't affect you.
It was like a double whammy.
Supposedly.
I mean, it's better than the alternative, in my opinion.
Dying.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, that's a solid no-go.
But, I mean, typically, but who am I to know the difference?
I think that kind of brings us to our Lesbehonest for today.
Yeah, what you do.
it brings me to the Lesbehonest. And so I just want to tell anyone listening. So if you want to be a part of the Lesbehonest, you have any topics that you want us to discuss, send them to thatpodcastilisten@gmail.com. And if you didn't write that down, it's okay. It's also in the description below. Throw us some topics and we'll be honest about it and tell us your thoughts, and we'll kind of go back and forth and judge you and be a part of it. But
it's all fun and jokes and games, and that just, we don't take life too seriously. I think that's important. So I know lots of opinions, and we're there to share and joke, but we're on the lower intelligence scale that can't be taken too seriously.
Oh yeah, I'm like a pet rock,
So how seriously can you take a couple of pet rocks,
The Lesbehonest that I want to be honest about with you is the streaming platform. The streaming platforms.
Pet rock, folks. Remember, pet rock.
Yo, okay. This is my issue, and it's Netflix, it's Hulu, it's HBO Max, it's Disney Plus. Less Disney Plus. Okay, I'm going to take Disney Plus out of it because I'm frustrated with Disney Plus, but it's only because I've watched everything already. So, because I love it.
You're the sole reason Disney Plus is in the biggest business right now is because you've watched everything 90 times.
Oh yeah, they've like announced their earnings, and I'm like, because of
Matt. Yeah, I was like, earnings. It said earnings because of Matt Berman. Yeah,
basically, I got my baby Yoda back here. I've got everything Disney Plus. But what really made me angry, and just really frustrated me was I knew I was going to be down for the count with this vaccine just because I saw Hope and her first vaccine and how crappy she felt. And I was like, oh, perfect. I'm going to binge something. I'm going to binge watch something because I'm going to be in bed. And dude, none of these streaming platforms had anything left for me. Like Netflix, I love New Girl. I like all the Netflix things that are out. Like I've see, I'm having issues today. I have either watched it already, or it's like a Netflix original, and there are so few Netflix originals that are good, and the rest are just shit. And so there's like nothing on there. I go to like HBO Max, which you have to pay extra for, even if you have HBO, and all the movies on there suck, or you've seen it so many times. And then like Hulu, fine. There's no more Handmaid's Tale, so what am I to watch? And so like I'm getting frustrated, and I was so pissed.
I agree in also the sense that what happens though is they always put out all the second seasons or extra seasons like at the same time, and then I get super anxious because I don't know which one to watch. And why can't they spread it out a little bit like now? Like if we staggered, and maybe it's just because all of my shows that I watch come out, but it definitely feels like they all come out at the same time. And then you can guarantee I won't be seeing anybody for the next like 3 weeks whenever that comes out because I have lots of shows I have to catch up on. But then there's these lulls of nothing.
Yeah. And I especially, I'm sure, like, not to throw too much shade, but like it was a pandemic, right? So I understand, things can't be filmed, all that good stuff. But like HBO Max is hyping Wonder Woman, and I'm totally down. Like, you're not as good as like Marvel, and your movies are way shittier in the DC world, in my humble opinion. But like, I'm sick of seeing the hype for Wonder Woman. Come out with other things, or like take old movies like that are like classics and put them on. Like, I don't see, in my opinion, like these classic things that make me laugh and I think are funny on these platforms. And I'm just scrolling through, like, I just want to watch something. Like, I watched when I was like dead, like Wall Street, and then I watched the newer one with like Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to watch this, but it's like, it's better than fucking like a lot of shit out there. And I don't know. I'm just so angry. I just wanted to watch something new or like something to like make me laugh because I was dead. So there was nothing on, and at least Impractical Jokers was on True TV, and I'm like, I've seen every episode, but they're funny as hell.
Yeah. No, I also think that what they should have done during the pandemic is had a bunch of like competitions where people at home had to make TV shows. And then they put that stuff on Netflix. Like all these independent filmmakers who are stuck at home can submit their best TV show ideas to Netflix that are all homegrown. And there could be a whole section of homegrown TV shows and could have a whole bunch of new shows for free. Netflix wouldn't even have to pay, like, cheap because they're homemade off an iPhone.
Yeah.
Like, be resourceful.
Dude, I got to the point when and I'm so excited that I can move my shoulder like this because literally for the past 3 days I've gotten like this far. So now I'm like partying up here. But I am like, dude, I'm at the point where I'm watching podcasts more than like streaming. And I was exhausted yesterday, and all I wanted to do was like binge watch. And I pay for all of these platforms, and I find myself like renting movies.
Then the other question I have is, do I just think they don't have any more stuff because they've put me in a box because they've labeled me? And I only see the shows and stuff that they think I want to see. But there's a whole world out there of the stuff that you watch that I don't even know exists, because anytime I see like recommended for you, like you'd have to physically search it to find it.
The old algorithm.
I'm just saying, is the algorithm as much as it's a positive, because it does give you good suggestions, is it causing boredom? Because at this point, everyone has watched so much stuff? Did it open their algorithm up or something? Like not just 90% likability, but like lower your standards, like 50%, like decently passable, standards that they should start showing you.
You know what they've
mildly enjoy this. Here you go. It's a perfect, marketing ploy. Like, why would I want to encourage people to stop watching?
Right. Especially now when they've got you.
Right. Because you got nothing else to do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking smart. Which also kind of transition us. which also kind of transitions us to our newest segment, our newest idea, our newest thing of thing. I think we should go with things they don't tell you. Keep it family friendly. Things they don't tell you. By they, I mean the theys.
The world.
The world. No one in particular.
Doesn't tell you.
And I know we kind of discussed this briefly, and I'm going to give a blanket. Wow, I'm really having trouble. This is COVID vaccine. The COVID vaccine makes it so you can't speak.
You can't blame your inability to speak clearly on
COVID.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the blanket statement, and I want to see if this is accurate with you because I come from the music side of this whole thing. And going to music school, and I'm not going to specify the school. I went to a great school, and they prepared me, and I learned so much. But what they don't tell you is that you're not magically going to get a job right out of school just because you came from a pretty good school. And they really didn't prep me for the wake-up call of, okay, I just graduated, had this whole big graduation party, and I got this really cool piece of paper to, okay, good luck. And I went to jazz school, so it's not like you're going out and you're going to get like this great paying jazz gig. Is that similar to you? Did they kind of throw you in the river?
100%. I mean, I got a psychology degree, which was the degree for people who didn't know what they were doing. So we just got a psychology degree.
Uh-huh.
And, your options are go and, become a psychologist for 7 more years or go into marketing. And that kind of was the other path. But there was no directions. Like you sort of, the door, you like celebrated you out the door and they closed behind you. And next thing you know, you're cold and alone on the streets. And now I hear like super prestigious schools like the Harvards of the world are much better at setting up your networks and those elements. And one of the pros of going there is that community that they set you up with. But shoot, I see my younger cousins now, they all have internships in college in the summers. Like that never was even told to me as a thing that we should be doing during that time. And I don't know if they did for you, that you should have been interning, but I feel like that's even like a new thing that to outside of school you have to do if no one tells you to start networking and start getting experience. Because that was the worst thing is you look at these entry-level jobs and they're like 3 years of experience for an entry level. And you're like, wait a minute. How am I supposed to get experience for an entry level without what's before entry? Like what's pre-entry level? Like negative?
And all these entry-level jobs are like, entry-level jobs have 5 to 7 years experience.
Yeah.
And I'm
like, it's unreal. They don't tell you that. You leave the door, you don't look at job. Like there wasn't a class on, finding jobs, getting jobs, what to look for, anything like that. Close the door and you all of a sudden have to start figuring stuff out. And it feels like you're late. Work hard in school because they tell you got to get good degree and, doing well in school. If you did an internship, if you had time to do that, because they didn't really tell you that or push you there or tell you what kind or help you or network, whatever that section is that I missed out completely, and that was not told nearly how important it really is. And then that third component is actually paying for things.
Yeah.
The restaurant gig, the bartending gig, the whatever, to just like survive in life, bare minimum. So if you even had time to do the internship, like something to be said about that.
Yeah, dude. And like when we were living together, you knew we both hustled our butts off, man. Like you were working like crazy, crazy. I was doing the bartending gig, the music gig. Probably at some point I was still doing like an office job. Like
and mind you, for those who don't know, there was three of us living in a 1-bedroom converted to a 2 with a third bedroom split by a curtain. So
oh my God,
making some sacrifices here to be able to, survive. Like they don't tell you this stuff.
Yeah. And we were always poor. Always poor. You know what it's like to impress a girl when you're so poor? You're like Aladdin, and there's no carpet to help you.
Oh, man.
I was the monkey, I suppose, helping you out, but
man.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It was rough, and it's still rough. And I mean, it could have been much worse. But
right. I mean, fortunate, let's call fortune for fortune. Like we are fortunate, but you hustle, and even when you hustle, you don't know where you're supposed to hustle, and that's the part I think and this is like there are dissectable pieces in all of this to go into of the things they don't tell you, but ultimately for this one, really to your point of you leave school and what are you supposed to like what like
what now?
Yeah. The dreams you thought you knew, the things they tell you to preach of practice this or study this or do this, quickly becomes very not as far as it's supposed to go that it was built up in your head.
Was it with you? Were you here when I was doing the working at Diesel? Were you here when I worked at Diesel?
Yeah, that was the best.
So
those jeans.
Those jeans were fantastic. Now I feel like a homeless person. No, that was like the best thing. Like the free clothes.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I still to this day try to figure out how to get either friends or work as a side gig in the places I shop the most, just to get the discounts because I don't want to pay full price. Again, the hustle part. So
dude, this is a good quick little tidbit as far as networking, because this is kind of how it works, at least how I've gotten like music gigs now and doing music full time, which is amazing. And that gig that I was telling you about earlier, it all happens by like just being nice and being a good person. Like when I was in college, I needed money, and my parents weren't just going to hand me money. And so I worked at a bakery. The bakery happened to be in Union Square across the street from a Diesel store. They would always come in all the time, and I'd be super nice. They offered me a gig to work there, started working there, climbed the old corporate ladder, got into the corporate office. Then I needed more money because I was poor and I wanted to impress girls. So I started working as a bartender. No, I'm sorry. I started working as a host. Then they liked me because I talked a lot, and they put me behind the bar, all while performing every weekend and recording music. So then I would work Monday to Friday at Diesel, Friday nights, Saturday nights, and Sunday nights I would work at the bar whilst recording and doing music. Then I left Diesel and I went on tour with Brandon Flowers and the Killers. And, it was pretty amazing since then. But it's still nothing handed to you after that either.
And if you're wondering, being me in this situation where you get a friend who works at Diesel, so you get free clothes, who works at the bar, so you're not paying for drinks, which if anyone is listening to this from New York knows that is the biggest time and money saver right there is to know the bartender.
Yep.
So 100% trying to spread my wings into being friends with you so I could get those things. The saddest part about moving to Long Island was that I don't know a bartender. I was like, I don't know how to pay for my own drinks. I only went to this one bar because Matt worked there and got drinks for us. I don't understand. What is this $15 shit? Like, I don't want to pay for that.
Man, well, hopefully, everyone, make sure you write in. Make sure you write in on that podcast I listened to at gmail.com. Give us some topics, some things you want to be honest about.
Yeah.
And we'll discuss
We'll keep it real. We'll keep it real. And again, all light, all fun, all good.
And nothing's off the table. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Careful what you say there.
Unless we don't like it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
well, if we don't like it, we'll tell you on the air.
We'll be like that. No, that'll be our Lesbehonest about your comment being. You know how they say like there's no stupid questions? Like we'll call you out for it being a stupid question.
Oh yeah, and we'll judge it. Just a little.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for episode 2. I think this is a pretty solid episode 2.
I think so. Just Grace, it's gonna get better and better.
It's gonna get better and better. And I'm really uppity today, and I'll be more depressing and angry next time. I think that's gonna be my thing. I won't drink as much coffee.
Or you're gonna have a certain persona character.
I think that's gonna be my persona from now on because I'm usually uppity and happy, so I need an outlet.
This is gonna
be my outlet for hate.
Grumpy.
Soon there'll just be like a 5th segment of shit that bothers me and makes me angry.
Soon we'll just make ourselves little cartoon characters, and we'll just have those as our profile, and you'll be grumpy, grumpy Matt.
Smash.
It'll be like a mix between Grumpy Cat and Wreck-It Ralph, and that'll be your character.
All right, thank you everyone for listening. You're the best. That's my Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man. Peace. All right, I stop while I'm mad. Thanks, everyone.